Jay here of Stretford, Paddock, and this is another special video. We love special videos on this channel. This time, it's looking at Manchester United's loanees and how they could be the key for new manager Ten Hag. Manchester United last season had quite a few young players who went out on loan. Some of them did really well, some of them did okay, some of them it didn't quite work out on. But there could be some of them that are available next season, that are good enough next season to play a part for Manchester United under Ten Hag. So we're going to have a look at how the players fared on their loan moves last season and see whether any of them could fit back into this Manchester United team and give Ten Hag a bit of an advantage when he's trying to balance his transfer budget, bring in younger players, move on some of the old guard and challenge for the very top honours. We'll start off with Andreas Pereira, the pre-season Perlo. He was at Flamengo last season. Now, it did look at one point like he was going to move there permanently. There was talk of around a £50 million move happening. Didn't happen. I think that was more to do with their finances rather than how he performed at the club. Now, you look at it, he did okay there. There was this report in the Daily Mail the other day, I don't know if you saw it, that United scouts went there to look at the team and actually pointed out him as being the best player. Now, some people were laughing at this and going, oh, United scouts saying Pereira. It wasn't like they were scouting Pereira. They went there and looked at Flamengo and said, the best player is the one that actually is owned by Manchester United. Do I think Andreas Pereira can play a part under Ten Hag? No. I don't. There are some rumours of reports that maybe he will get a chance. We know what he does in pre-season. He does do well in pre-season. Maybe he'll force his way into thinking. But I think we've seen Andreas Pereira in the Premier League enough times to know he's not quite up to the standard that you would need. So I don't see him playing a part under Ten Hag. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. He has had an okay spell at Flamengo. Wasn't amazing, but it was decent. Is it good enough to make him force his way into the Manchester United side? Not for me. I mean, he's done well, but not well enough. So I think we have to be honest with Andreas Pereira and say, I don't see him playing under Ten Hag. But you know what he's like in pre-season. He does turn it on, doesn't he? Maybe, you know, we go to Australia, we go to Thailand, we go to Norway, and he absolutely smashes it, and Ten Hag goes, who's this guy? And the scouts go, actually, we saw him when he was at Flamengo. He's amazing. And he ends up back in the first team. Just don't think he's Premier League standard, though. Get involved in the comments and let us know what you think. Another player, Facundo Pellistri. Now, this guy was trending on Twitter the other day for his assist in a goal for Edinson Cavani. Remember him? Against Mexico. Everyone was raving about him, saying, get him back in the team, get him in the squad, he's good enough and all this sort of jazz. I even did a bit of tongue-in-cheek tweet about it. But we've got to be honest about his move to Alaves. It wasn't great. 21 appearances during the season. And he was only in the starting 11 6 times, and he never played a full 90. Is that good enough for Manchester United? Is that good enough at the moment? He's only young. He's only 20 years old. He has got a bright future ahead of him. Unlike Pereira, who I think he's 26, so you know he's not going to get much better. With Facundo Pellistri, it's slightly different. Could he come into the United side next season? Probably not. Further down the line, yeah, there's a good chance. Players can progress, but he hasn't had a great loan spell. He needs to show more on a loan spell. He's doing well for Uruguay, but international football isn't always a great indicator of how you can do in the Premier League and how you can do for Manchester United Football Club. So another loan move for him to prove himself would probably be the best option all round. Now, James Garner, the man of the moment, helped Nottingham Forest back into the Premier League after over 20 years of being outside it. Had a very, very good loan spell there at Nottingham Forest. Fans loved him. You saw what he could do when you saw him. If you did see him in the playoff final, if you saw him in the playoff semi-final, if you saw him in the FA Cup, let's not forget, Forest had that difficult FA Cup run, didn't they? They played the likes of Arsenal, they played the likes of Leicester, I think they played the likes of Liverpool as well, and he played well in those games. We know what he can do with a dead ball. He can put a dead ball practically anywhere. He's good at free kicks, he's good at corners, something we've been missing at Manchester United. He's 21 years old, so he's still got a bright future ahead of him. You look at his appearances and his record in the Championship this season, 41 games, 4 goals, 8 assists. A decent return. He's not a goal scorer as such. He can get goals, but he is a bit more of an 8. He can drop deep. We saw it in the playoff final as well. He can get stuck in with a challenge. All things that have been missing from Manchester United. Can he come into this team? Maybe. More likely, he could play a part in the squad. Now, there is a bit of a fly in the ointment because there's rumours and reports that maybe Nottingham Forest want him back there for another season. They want him back there as part of their Premier League campaign. Would he be better served going to Nottingham Forest, getting regular football week in, week in, out, which he might not get at Manchester United? He might just be a bit of a squad player. I said it earlier on this season. I wanted him back at Manchester United at the end of the season. I want him in that squad. I want him given a chance in the team. I think he deserves it. I think you could put James Garner in this team and he could be effective for Manchester United, especially when you look at the amount of games we've got. We've got Europa League, we've got the Cups, we've got the League, and we want to challenge for trophies. If we're going to challenge for trophies, you need a squad. It's no good just having 3 or 4 midfielders who are available. You need 5 or 6. That's what the likes of City and Liverpool have got. Now, I'm not saying we're going to challenge for the title like they are, but if we're going to be challenging in Europe and we're going to be challenging domestically, then you need more than just 2 or 3 options for each position, especially in that midfield area. And I think after the season he's had, we know he came through the academy. He was always a player that was looked at. I went to watch him in the under-23s a couple of times, took the family down there, and everyone was raving about James Garner. And he did well when I saw him as well. He scored a couple of goals. I think James Garner deserves a chance in this Manchester United team. Get involved in the comments. Let me know whether you agree. Or do you think that he's better served going back to Nottingham Forest? The Forest fans love him. He loves his time there. He had a bit of a patchy time at Watford, went to Forest. It all started happening for him. Should he go back there? Let us know what you think in the comments. The next one is probably one of the most disappointing moves in recent memory, and this is Axel Tuanzebe to Napoli. I love Axel Tuanzebe. Came through the academy, fantastic player, fantastic defender. Went to Aston Villa in the Championship, did really well there, helped them get promoted. Came back to Manchester United, smashed it in Paris, keeping the likes of Mbappe and Neymar quiet. But that was a high point, and since then it's just been a series of low points. Remember the game against Istanbul? We ended up getting pulled off at half-time, didn't do very well at all. Plagued by injuries, absolutely hammered the poor kid with injuries. Went to Napoli, 1 appearance in Serie A, 10 minutes. Been on the bench 9 times throughout the season, but never came on. Why we didn't pull the plug on this move, I've no idea. Just get him back. We should have got him back here. And you might say he's not good enough. Could he have done any worse than some of our defenders this season? He at least tried. I mean, Phil Jones was getting a game and everyone thought his career was done. Would Axel Tuanzebe been beyond the realms of possibility? Or another low move, if that was feasible? Whichever way you look at it, the move to Napoli was just a complete waste of everyone's time. Waste of his time, waste of Manchester United's time, probably waste of their time as well. Do I think he's got a future at Manchester United? No. I think he's going to move on. We saw Fabrizio Romano tweeting that Axel Tuanzebe and Eric Bailly are likely to move on. I will wish him well, though, and it's a shame. I think he got injured. There's never a good time to get injured, but he got injured at just the wrong time. He got injured at a time when it just looked like he was ready to get into that Manchester United first team, but it wasn't to be. But, as they say in the film Casablanca, we'll always have Paris. Brandon Williams. I love Brandon Williams. I'm going to put that out there. I absolutely love the kid. Gets stuck in, loves a tackle, loves a challenge. From North Manchester. You don't mess with him. I think he's from Moston or Apres, somewhere like that. Sorry, Brandon, for getting it wrong, if I've got it wrong. You don't mess with him. And I know he's got quality on the ball as well. We saw it when he broke into the first team as a teenager, keeping the likes of Luke Shaw out of the team, of course. Hasn't quite kicked on as much as everyone expected since then. But he's had a decent season at Norwich. Now, it's easy to look at Norwich and go, they've been the Premier League whipping boys. They've conceded loads of goals. He's been in their defence. It's been an awful season for him, but it hasn't. He came 3rd in their Player of the Season awards. That was voted for by the fans. He came 3rd. So it's not been that bad for him. He's been respected by the fans, and I think I haven't watched Brandon Williams week in, week out at Norwich, but if the fans have, and they're saying, you know what, he's our 3rd best player, can't be that much of a disaster. Also on the Canary Cast, they tweeted on Twitter saying, well, where else would you tweet? Saying one player's commitment that cannot be put into question this season is Brandon Williams. The guy has given everything each week he's played at Norwich City Football Club. Now, he did get into a bit of controversy, didn't he, with an Instagram post where it looked like he was giving a bit of stick to the fans. I think that's because he's had a bit of stick and he'd said that some of them were trying to follow him home, whatever. But I don't think we can look too much into that. From what I've seen on Twitter, from what I've seen on certain websites, and the fact that the fans voted him 3rd behind Grant Hanley and Timur Pukki, who won it as their player of the season, shows you that it hasn't been a terrible spell there at all. The question is, can he come back into the Manchester United team and do something for Eric Ten Hag? I think he can. I honestly do. Maybe he's not a first choice, but again, I keep looking at the amount of competitions that we're in. I keep looking at the fact you need players that are going to challenge for those positions, and I think he would. And I think at the age of 21, too many people have been willing to throw him under the bus and go, he's done. He's not done. He's still young. 21 years old for fullback isn't by any stretch of the imagination the sort of indication of where you're going to be. You can still kick on from 21. I think he will do. So I'm a big fan of Brandon Williams, and I think we need players like him, who are going to get stuck in. It's not just about passion. You need a bit of quality as well. But he's got that, so I'd bring him back into the team. Let's not forget, he wouldn't start for me, but in the squad, he can play on the left or on the right, and he's definitely had a better season than some people give him credit for in the Premier League, don't forget as well. So for those reasons I've listed, get Brandon Williams back into the squad. Whether Eric Ten Hag does is another question altogether. Tahith Chong at Birmingham. A few years ago, Tahith Chong was being touted as the greatest academy player since, I don't know, George Best. Not really worked out for him. He's had quite a few low moves. He's been here, there and everywhere. Went to the Championship at Birmingham, and at one point it looked like he was finally going to have the season and the career even that we all hoped he could. The Birmingham fans were raving about him. I spoke to Will Brazier, who's a mate of mine, who's a Birmingham City fan, and this was early on in the season. He said he's done really well. Plays in so many different positions, but then he got injured and he missed a chunk of games, 17 games of the season because he had to have groin surgery. And again, it just seems like we say this all the time about Tahith Chong. The jury's out. I get the impression his United career is done. I might be wrong, but I don't see him coming back into this Manchester United team or the squad even. I think he might have to end up moving. I think his next move might be a permanent one. He's had a few low moves and it's never quite worked out for him. But we wish him well no matter what. Donny Van De Beek. Now, this is an interesting one. Eric Ten Hag knows this player. He was part of that very successful Ajax side that won the league, won the cup, got to the Champions League semi-final, of course, came to Manchester United. They told us to look after him. We didn't. Was that our fault? Was that partly his fault for his performances? Went to Everton. A bit of a mixed bag. I spoke to Matt Jones from the Blue Room podcast, who was raving about Donny Van De Beek towards the end of the season, but then he picks up injuries, misses important games. Everton stay up. He's played his part. How big was that part? Open to interpretation. 7 league games, 1 goal. Missed 8 appearances through injury. So even someone like me who's terrible at maths can work out that he missed more games than he played for in the Premier League for Everton. Not what he needed, but he has got that added bonus of having a manager who knows him. And there's lots of rumours, lots of suggestions that because Eric Ten Hag knows him, because he was very successful for him at Ajax, he'll get another chance at Manchester United. We'll have to wait and see. One player I don't expect to get another chance at Manchester United is Anthony Martial. Went to Sevilla. And I can honestly say, I don't think I've ever seen a club in the history of association football mobilise their social media team behind a player in the way that Sevilla did for Anthony Martial. They pulled out all the stops. It was like something you've never seen before in your life. They absolutely praised and raved and bigged up Anthony Martial to the high heavens when he arrived at the club. But it didn't matter. It didn't work. He just didn't shine there. I spoke to Semra Hunter the other day, who's a presenter for La Liga TV, La Liga expert, knows his stuff, and she said his move there has been pretty much a disaster. Didn't work for him at all. Lopetegui wasn't impressed with him. You look at his stats in the La Liga, 9 appearances, 1 assist. In Europa League, 3 assists, 3 appearances, 1 goal. Not good enough. Not good enough by any stretch of the imagination. When they brought him in, they thought he had a chance to win the Liga. Just an awful spell there. 26 years old. He's not a youngster anymore. It's just not happening for Anthony Martial. I like Tony M, I do, but I think he needs to move away from Manchester United. I think he might need to go back to France or something, somewhere where he can feel not just loved, but at home. I don't like to say go back to where he came from. It sounds a bit Brexit, that, doesn't it? But maybe he does need to get back to where his family are from in terms of feeling settled and comfortable, because for whatever reason, at Sevilla it wasn't happening. At Manchester United it wasn't happening. I liked Tony M. He gave us that great debut. He scored one of probably the high points post-Fergie was the late winner against Everton in the FA Cup semi-final. We saw him doing well under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, 23 goals in a season, the hat-trick against Sheffield United, loads of good performances, but then it went drastically wrong. 4 Premier League goals the following season. Then this season, or last season, a move to Sevilla and a disastrous spell there. Sorry, Tony, but it's time to move on. Amad Diallo. Now, Diallo had, I think, one of the best debuts you can have. He scored after about 2 minutes, didn't he, for Rangers when he started? Everyone's like, here we go, this is happening. But since then, it's been patchy at best. He didn't even feature in the Europa League final. Rangers lost it. He didn't get off the bench, which is a bit of a shame. Had it been up to me, he'd have started, but I don't know anything about Rangers' team and whether he's good enough for them or anything like that, so it's not up to me. Did okay. I think you look at it, he was 5 appearances and 1 goal. There's the split as well in I nearly said French football, Scottish football, where the top, after 33 games, the top 6 and the bottom 6, they have their own little split. When that happened, he had 5 appearances and 2 goals, so he's done okay. He's still only 19 years old. It's a weird one with Diallo because we bought him and he played about an hour of professional football. Fabrizio Romano came on this channel and was raving about him from his time at Atalanta, saying that the players there were raving about him in training and saying what a good player he was. And Fabrizio Romano said he was surprised that someone like a Juventus didn't come in for him. Said that he thought he could have actually gone to Juve, somewhere like that, another Italian club. Come to Manchester United. Little bit of controversy, not down to the kid, but how he ended up in Italy. It was almost like they're treating it like there's some sort of child trafficking going on. Lots of expectations for a player so young. Did well in Europe when he first came in for Manchester United, didn't he? Looks like a very good player. He's only 19. He's got a lot of time ahead of him. The move to Rangers doesn't really tell us a lot. Does he need another loan move? Can he play a part for Erik Ten Hag? Could he be a squad player, especially as I keep mentioning, all the tournaments are in, maybe in the Europa League? Perhaps. I think probably a new loan move is on the cards for him, and I think that would probably suit him best. Still only 9 years old, far too soon to start throwing anyone under the bus and saying he's not good enough. Dylan Levitt, 21 years old, centre midfielder, formed that partnership for the academy alongside James Garner. James Garner has shone at Nottingham Forest and had pretty much as successful a season you could have hoped for. Dylan Levitt's not had a bad season for Dundee United. He was voted their fans player of the year. 20 appearances in the Scottish Premier League, 2 goals and an assist. So one of the goals is very good as well. He's done okay. Well, he's done well, but he's done well in the Scottish Premier League. Is he going to get a chance at Manchester United? I don't think he is. It's a bit of a shame because I do like him. He is a good player. He's done well. He's obviously become a Welsh international. Won the fans over in Scotland. I just don't see it happening. I just don't. I might be wrong. He's only 21 years old. He's still got a lot of time ahead of him. I think maybe it's going to be a loan move or a permanent move. But if he comes back into the squad, if he's given a chance because of all the tournaments where they keep banging on about, then who knows? Maybe you can even have him and Garner in the Europa League as a partnership again. Time will tell. Ethan Laird. There was a time when Ethan Laird was being raved about, but he kept getting injured when he was a youngster. And there was a worry that could scupper his career. Now, he's had a couple of loan moves. He went to Swansea where he had 20 appearances from August to December with 3 assists, playing regularly, playing the full 90 minutes, doing really well. He was almost like a wing-back or a winger at times. He then went to Bournemouth. 6 appearances for Bournemouth since January. And he played 90 minutes just 3 times. It's injuries again, innit? That's the sort of the issue with Ethan Laird. Such a talented player, so good going forward. Strong player as well. Talented, skillful, strong, quick, everything you'd want. Just injuries, man. I worry about him, I do. Does he need another loan move to try and get a full season under his belt? I think he does. I think if he can go away, maybe even a Premier League club put a punt on him. Who knows? If he goes away, gets a full season, shows what he's made of, and then he can come back. I still think there's a player there, but I think he's in that sort of crossroads now where he needs to prove himself by playing a full season, but a very, very talented kid. Ethan Galbraith. Now, this is David Pritt's fave. You know David Pritt, who do the Academy review. He's always raving about Ethan Galbraith. He had a loan move. He went to Doncaster. 33 appearances, 1 goal, 3 assists, 9 yellow cards. He loves a yellow card, doesn't he? He also featured in the FL Trophy and the FA Cup. Doncaster were relegated, though, into League Two. So it's not been a great time for the club there. He's done okay. Galbraith, 21 years old. If I had to be honest, I'd be very surprised if he came back to Manchester United featured. It could happen, but it's unlikely. I think another loan move or probably a permanent move could be on the cards. Sorry, Dave, and sorry, Ethan, as well. And finally, Teden Mengi. Everyone loves Teden Mengi. A lot of people that watch Manchester United have seen him for the academy, have seen him with little cameos and stuff he's done. Love the kid. Think he's a great player. He went to Birmingham just like Tahith Chong. He's a centre-back. 9 appearances since January and 1 in the FA Cup. There's still question marks in there sometimes about his fitness and stuff, but he's such a good player in terms of his attitude, the way he gets stuck in. He's a real fighting, battling type of player. Still only 20 years old, so he's a youngster. Probably another loan move on the cards. I'd be very surprised if he came in and started or played for Manchester United. We're shipping out the likes of Axel Tuanzebe, Eric Bailly, probably Phil Jones as well. So there are centre-backs moving out, but the centre-backs being linked with a move in, and I don't think Teden Mengi comes into this side. I think he needs to go away, similar to Ethan Laird, and get himself a full season playing somewhere. Who knows, maybe he gets a punt on a Premier League team, but I think it's more likely he goes back into the Championship, gets a loan move there, shows what he can do, and I think he could be a future star for Manchester United, but he just needs to prove himself somewhere yet because it hasn't quite happened for him at Birmingham. We're going to leave it there anyway. That's been a roundup of all the players that could be available for Erik Ten Hag next season, and whether one or two of them could be key for him supplementing, if we can use that word, the squad with players that he can't get elsewhere because he's only got a limited transfer budget. We know we've got some good young players coming through the academy at the moment, the likes of Alejandro Garnacho, for example, further down the line, the likes of Charlie McNeil. But in terms of loanees that have gone out, some of those could be coming back, and some of them could do a job for Manchester United, the ones I've listed. Get involved in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Have I missed anyone out? Have I been too harsh on players? Have I been too generous on others? Do you think we're going to see a midfield next season that features the likes of Donny Van De Beek and James Garner, or is that just a nonsense? Let us know what you think. Don't forget as well to hit like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.